Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to get you informed, fast, cutting through all the noise. So today we're tackling something a lot of entrepreneurs really grapple with. They know deep down they need a solid online presence. But just the idea of building some big, complex website or, hiring expensive developers, it feels huge, really daunting. And this, well, it often leads to delays, frustrating ones, or sometimes they just kind of give up before even starting.
Oh, absolutely. It's a hurdle we see all the time, and it's completely understandable. There's this common idea out there that you need this massive, all-singing, all-dancing website right from day one to be seen as legitimate online. But honestly, that misconception, it often just acts as a barrier. It stops great ideas, brilliant businesses from ever really getting seen in the digital world.
Exactly. And the fascinating part, the really eye-opening thing, is that the solution isn't about building that digital empire overnight. Not at all. It's about something way more strategic and, frankly, more accessible. We're talking about the minimum viable digital presence, or MVDP. It's a strategy that's honestly often overlooked, but it's so critical, so powerful. So in this deep dive, we're going to unpack it. What is an MVDP? Why is it basically non-negotiable for any entrepreneur today? Whether you're a fashion designer in Soweto or maybe a life coach in Cape Town. And probably the key bit, how you can actually achieve it without all the usual headaches. Think of this as your shortcut to getting smart about practical digital strategy. Okay, so we've set the scene, that's the challenge, but let's dig into the why. Why is being online just absolutely essential in today's world? It's hyper-connected, right? It really comes down to how we all behave as consumers now. I saw a stat, something like 80% of people will just ditch a business if they can't find clear info online super fast. Like within the first few clicks, we Google before we trust anyone.
We scroll before we buy anything. We click before we commit. It sounds stark, but if you can't be found online easily, your business kind of doesn't exist for a lot of people.
That's spot on. And what's really key here, I think, is how directly that online visibility translates into trust and credibility. In today's market, it's just fundamental. If you don't have an online presence, or maybe worse, if the one you do have is confusing or looks empty or outdated, people move on incredibly quickly, like instantly. They might see it as unprofessional, or maybe think you're not even operating anymore, so they just click away. On to the next option. So yeah, a poor online footprint, or none at all, can actually be more damaging than you might think. It creates a bad first impression that's really, really hard to overcome later.
Okay. So the why is clear. It's essential. But let's nail down the what. What exactly is this MVDP? When we say minimum viable, what does that really mean in the digital space? Especially when, like you said, people think website equals massive project.
Right. It's about stripping it all back. Getting rid of the unnecessary bells and whistles, at least initially, and focusing purely on the core functions. Think of it like a digital business card, but a business card with superpowers. The minimum viable part means it absolutely must achieve a few key things. First, it has to help people find you online. That's basic discoverability. Second, it needs to help them quickly understand what it is you actually do. Clarity is key. Third, it must help them trust you. This comes through clear branding, maybe some proof points. And fourth, maybe most importantly, it needs to help them take action, whatever that action is for your business: booking, buying, subscribing, just getting in touch.
That makes perfect sense. Superpowers, I like that. And looking at the sources, the actual components are surprisingly straightforward. We're talking like a clean, often just a single-page site. Simple. I mean, they have really clear links, maybe to your social media profiles, or if you have an online shop somewhere else, definitely needs direct contact options. Make it easy. WhatsApp, email, whatever works. And those trust builders you mentioned, crucial. Things like customer testimonials, maybe some compelling stats about your results, social proof. Then there's the technical side. Has to be mobile optimized. That's just non-negotiable now, right? Everyone's on their phones.
Absolutely. A site that doesn't work on mobile looks broken.
Yeah, totally unprofessional. Plus, search engines like Google actually prefer mobile-friendly sites.
Yeah.
And maybe a QR code. Super handy for easy access from physical marketing or networking. So the theme is simple, clear, and effective.
Exactly. Minimum viable. It does the job it needs to do without the bloat.
Okay, so we know what it is. Simple, effective. But let's talk about the impact. This is where it gets really interesting, I think. Why is actually embracing this MVDP idea such a game changer for entrepreneurs? We live in this crazy attention economy, right? You've got maybe, 3 seconds online to grab someone. In that time, you have to tell them who you are, what you do, and why they should care. If you're not online, or if your presence is just confusing, poof, they're gone, moved on already.
Yeah, the speed is incredible. And it's not just about being found, like we said. It's about quickly establishing credibility and making it easy for people to interact. The research we looked at points to some really specific advantages of a solid MVDP. First, it builds that trust almost instantly. A clean, professional presence says you're serious. Second, it gets you indexed by Google. This is huge for discoverability. People searching for what you offer can actually find you. Third, and this is critical for business, it helps convert interest directly into income because it facilitates that action step we talked about. And fourth, a big one, it saves entrepreneurs from needing those expensive web developers right at the start. It directly tackles that initial fear of cost and complexity. So really, it's your entry ticket, your essential pass into the digital economy.
An entry ticket. I like that. It feels achievable. Okay, this all sounds incredibly powerful, necessary even. But for lots of people listening, the big question mark is still the how. How do you actually build an MVDP without the headache, without the technical skills maybe? What makes it truly effortless, like we hinted at? Now, obviously, there are different ways you could approach this, right? You could optimize a really good social media profile, use various DIY website builders. But one specific tool that came up in our sources as a really effective way to nail this minimum viable approach is Acalytica. It's positioned as a sort of launchpad. Yeah, exactly. Described as a free, no-code launchpad for digital success. And looking at the features, you can see why it fits the MVDP model so well. Apparently, you can create your page in just minutes. Like literally minutes. Pick a username, pop in your info, and boom, you're online. It also offers instant sales capability. This is pretty cool. You can sell products or services directly from the page. And crucially, it says all you need is a bank account. It seems to handle the payment processing side, which cuts out that whole nightmare of setting up complex payment gateways.
Which is a massive hurdle for so many small businesses. The fees, the security worries, the technical setup. Yeah.
Totally. So this seems to streamline it. Plus, you have built-in analytics. You can track who's visiting, what they're clicking, see if people are converting, understand what's working. For credibility, it lets you add testimonials easily, real-time social proof, and you still get control. Customization options to match your brand, and even the ability to connect your own custom domain name if you want to look even more professional later on.
And what's really compelling about a tool like this, or others aiming for similar simplicity, is how it just removes those technical barriers. It lets the entrepreneur focus on their actual business, their craft, their service, instead of getting totally bogged down in website development, which isn't their expertise. It really sums up that idea of no fluff, just tools that actually work and get you started.
Right. Practical tools. And look, maybe you're still wondering, is this MVDP thing and maybe using a tool like Acalytica really worth the, well, minimal effort it takes?
Yeah.
Let's talk about some real stories. Real results make it tangible, don't they? We found some great examples from the Acalytica community specifically. There's Tabo, a fashion designer in Soweto. He apparently doubled his sales. Doubled. Just by linking his simple Acalytica page to his Instagram profile.
Wow, that's significant impact from a simple link.
Isn't it? Or Lindy Ellie, an electrician based in Germiston. She used her MVDP, her Acalytica page, to land 3 corporate maintenance contracts. Big gigs. And one more CFO, a photographer. He got booked for a wedding, a major job, just 2 days after sharing his new page. 2 days. So, this isn't just theory we're talking about. This is real-world stuff. Real transformation happening for small businesses.
Those examples really bring it home. It shows the direct line from having that simple, effective presence to actually getting business.
Absolutely. So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now? I think the big takeaway is clearer than ever. You don't need that massive, complicated website or some fancy app just to get started online. You really don't. What you truly need, fundamentally, is presence being findable. You need trust showing you're credible, and you need a way for people to take action to connect or buy. A minimum viable digital presence. It delivers exactly that. And as we've unpacked, it can be surprisingly, refreshingly simple to implement.
Yeah, and if you look at the bigger picture, the barrier to getting into digital commerce, to selling and connecting online, it has genuinely never been lower than it is right now. Strategies like the MVDP and tools that make it easy mean this isn't some future goal. It's an immediate, really accessible opportunity for pretty much any entrepreneur wanting to build or grow their online footprint.
So the question really becomes, what's stopping you from taking that first simple step? You could literally get started today. The source mentioned heading over to Acalytica.com, launching your page there. It's free to get started. Just pause for a second and imagine. Imagine what it could mean for your business. To have your digital presence out there working for you 24/7, pulling in leads, maybe even making sales while you sleep. What new opportunities could that unlock for your own entrepreneurial journey? Something to think about.